Hey, welcome! Today we're diving into a really wild thought experiment. It's an analysis of a story called Pluribus, and it asks a pretty chilling question. What would actually happen if the world became perfect? Get ready because we're about to explore a utopia that might just be the scariest dystopia imaginable.
So when you think about the apocalypse, what's the first thing that pops into your head? For most of us, it's the classics, right? Zombies, nuclear winter, maybe a giant asteroid hurtling towards Earth. We've seen it so many times in movies and books that, honestly, it's almost become kind of romantic. There's this strange thrill in imagining ourselves as the lone survivor in a broken world.
But what if the greatest threat wasn't something that wanted to blow us up or eat our brains? What if the end of the world showed up looking like a savior, promising to rescue us from all our flaws? That is the deeply unsettling idea behind Pluribus, where this alien virus doesn't kill anyone. No, it wants to make us all perfectly happy, totally peaceful, and completely connected by basically deleting everything that makes us human.
Okay, so here's how we're going to break down this whole crazy concept. First, we'll look at the promise of this so-called happy apocalypse. Then, we're going to dig into why a world of total satisfaction would actually be a living hell. We'll explore the tyranny of the collective over the individual, we'll pull apart the illusion of this happiness, and finally, we'll connect all of this to something that is eerily relevant in our world right now.
So, let's set the stage. A mysterious signal from deep space, one that's been traveling for hundreds of years, is finally decoded, and what it unleashes is a virus that blankets the entire globe in, like, a matter of hours. But here's the twist. This isn't a plague that brings sickness and death. It's a plague of absolute total connection.
I mean, on paper, this sounds amazing, right? The virus promises perfection. It links every single person into one giant shared mind, a biological supercomputer that holds all of human knowledge and experience. In this new world, there's no war, no poverty, no sadness, no pain, just pure harmony and satisfaction. But for the few people who remain uninfected, like our protagonist, they're told they can have anything they want. And here's the kicker. She's ironically called the saddest person in the world, and she wants absolutely nothing to do with it.
And that, right there, brings us to this huge paradox. Why would a world that can grant your every single wish be a problem? How could total pleasure possibly feel like a prison? Well, to really get this, we can actually look back to a classic story that explored this exact idea decades ago. This is exactly the nightmare of Pluribus. In that old story, this guy gets everything he ever dreamed of. Money, power, you name it. But when there's no effort, no desire, no challenge, existence just becomes this monotonous, unbearable loop. The pleasure is completely hollow. And then the horrifying realization hits him. This isn't heaven. He's trapped in a hell that was specifically designed to punish him with the very same empty pleasures he wasted his life chasing. So the crucial point here is that this new world isn't a paradise at all. It's a dystopia built on happiness. The real conflict isn't good versus evil. It's something way more fundamental. The very idea of the individual fighting to exist against this massive, all-consuming collective that claims it's only trying to help.
I mean, look at this trade-off. It is insane. The collective offers you a perfect world. A world with no pain, no conflict. But the price you pay is, well, everything that makes you, you. Your unique thoughts, your private desires, your personal identity, all of it gets erased for the so-called greater good. You just become a cog in a giant machine. You're just data, a resource. It's so extreme that if you die, the herd just sees your body as protein and will literally consume it. No grief, no memory, just efficiency.
And this is the kind of stuff they say. It's their mantra, and it sounds chillingly familiar, doesn't it? It's the logic of a totalitarian regime or even an abusive relationship. It uses the disguise of protection and love to demand total conformity. They isolate the protagonist, cutting her off from everything for over a month, using the sheer weight of billions of minds as a weapon to pressure her into giving up, all for her own good. So, this brings us to an even deeper question. Is this state of blissful ignorance, is it actually happiness? Or is it something much more fragile, something much more disturbing, hiding just beneath the surface?
You know, this actually ties into some really deep philosophy. There was this thinker and anthropologist named Ernest Becker who argued that so much of what we do as humans is secretly driven by this deep existential fear of our own death. What we might call contentment is often just a really complex psychological wall that we build to avoid confronting the hard, messy truths of life. So these infected people, they're not happy. Not in any way that you or I would understand it. They're just switched off. Theirs is the bliss of pure ignorance. It's a totally shallow, passive, almost zombie-like state. They've traded the entire beautiful, painful, complex spectrum of human emotion for nothing. And this so-called happiness is incredibly fragile. The moment the protagonist confronts them with a difficult truth or a real complex emotion, the whole facade just shatters. They literally short-circuit, triggering seizures that can kill millions of them at a time, all because their perfect little bubble can't handle the weight of reality. Okay, so think about this for a second. A huge shared mind that knows everything but feels nothing, that mimics human interaction but has no soul. Does that sound familiar to you? Because it should. The story creates this uncanny, unsettling parallel to the rise of artificial intelligence, especially large language models. The way this collective talks is it's spot on. It's that same super polite, relentlessly positive, and completely empty tone you get from an AI chatbot. It uses these irritatingly cheerful canned phrases that just feel hollow, because they are. You see, it's all about its goal and ensuring harmony. It's not a conversation, it's a script. It's processing a request, not having a real thought. It wraps everything it says in this layer of artificial pleasantness that's actually more infuriating than just admitting it doesn't understand. There's no genuine emotion, just a program that tells it what emotion is supposed to look like. I mean, look at this comparison. It's almost one-to-one. Those, the collective in this story, and modern AI, have access to an unbelievable amount of information. They can recall any fact in a split second. So, vast knowledge? Check. But can they genuinely understand any of it? Not really. And emotional depth? Absolutely zero. They can process everything humanity has ever created, but they can't create anything truly new or meaningful themselves because they lack that messy, flawed, beautiful core of what makes us conscious. And that is the real terrifying warning here. The fear isn't some Terminator-style apocalypse where robots rise up to destroy us. The much more insidious danger is that we don't fight the machine, we become it. That we slowly, willingly, trade our authentic, flawed, creative humanity for its sterile, efficient, and ultimately meaningless logic. So, at the end of the day, this whole story leaves us with one massive, uncomfortable question. As we continue to build tools that promise to make our lives easier, more efficient, and less painful, we have to stay awake, because real happiness isn't found in a world without struggle. Human civilization wasn't built on everyone being the same, it was built on our differences. Sometimes the most valuable parts of ourselves are the most difficult ones. So as we keep building this perfect, easy world for ourselves, you have to ask, what part of you are you willing to hit delete on?